Welcome to Retire Rich, Finance Simplified, hosted by David Saldiva with Mark Hernandez and Carlos Lopez.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Dave. I'm joined here with Carlos Lopez. Today we're going to be talking about consolidating 401ks into one IRA. You had some statistics on it too, right?
Yes, David. Some of the clients that we help out and keep their financial goals on track. When they come to us, they've been at different job workplaces, so they kind of job hop from one place to another. And
They're nurses, yeah.
Yeah, they're nurses.
They're
exactly.
looking for more money, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they come in sometimes and they say, hey, I worked here, I worked there. I don't remember my account number. I don't remember. I just know that I receive from time to time some statements in the mail. I usually don't even check them. And now I have 3 or 4 or 5 of these different 401ks from previous places.
And they're moving, so they're not changing addresses with, the companies.
Right, exactly.
So, they may not even have any paperwork anymore.
Right. Sometimes they're electronic, so they lose track of these 401ks and these monies that they've worked hard for a duration of time. And they come to us and they kind of ask us what their options are, and we tell them, a lot of times what you want to do is consolidate your 401ks from these different workplaces that you worked at previously and consolidate them into one IRA. Now, before we continue, let me tell you some of the turnover ratios that I looked up for nurses. In the behavioral health portion, the turnover rate is 22.8%. For step-down units, it's 20% or 20.3%. ER, emergency room, is 19.1%. Critical care, 18.3%. Medical surgical, 18%. Pediatrics is 12.2%. Now, not all nursing roles are created equal, David. Roles with lower pay or higher physical demands often see much higher turnover. An example here is that CNAs or certified nursing assistants, roughly 42.3% turnover. Many facilities effectively replace their entire CNA staff every 2 to 5 years.
See, you take the time to train somebody and then they're gone in 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years. A crop of new nurses come in and get replaced. For LPNs, licensed practical nurses, the turnover ratio is 24.8%. And for RNs, registered nurses, which of course is the aforementioned 16.4%. So the reason they do this, sometimes nurses on their own, is just basically they want a higher pay, so they'll go somewhere else. Or if they're burned out or they feel that they're burned out, they'll go to a clinic setting for less pay, but they'll have comfortable hours and work Monday through Friday.
And the grass is always greener on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, during these transitions, they have 401ks in different places. And, our recommendation is to put them all into one IRA, to consolidate them, to control them. Usually the plans of 401ks are limited to certain kinds of curated mutual funds or separate accounts. But in an IRA, now you have access to ETFs, stocks, bonds, and more variety to choose.
Now this rings a bell. I think we had a traveling nurse that came in, older lady, and she'd been doing it for decades. And as I recall, she didn't even know that she had missing 401ks. So she told us where she had worked. We looked up those places. We looked up what companies they were working with for the 401k, and usually some of those had even moved and transferred to other places. Now, when you leave a workplace and you leave your 401k, usually I think after like a year or two, the company will roll it over, the holding, the clearinghouse, will roll it over into an IRA for you. It won't stay in a 401k. So then there's a problem with things getting vested.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if they're not there for, I think, what's the rule? Maybe 3 to 6 years, somewhere in between there.
It varies, but yes.
So now Now they're losing out on that money that was matched, and the company automatically rolls them over into an IRA, and it just sits there. And it's probably in, something that they didn't choose. It's not getting managed.
Right. It's not getting managed. It's something that probably
Set it and forget it.
set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't get to put their, if they're still kind of young, they can want to be more aggressive. It might be conservative.
Target date funds. I hate target date funds.
Target date
Yeah.
funds. Yeah, exactly. And as time passes, there might even be a significant amount of fees that they don't even, they're not aware of. And it's kind of depleting and eating into what they're making. And if what they're making in the 401k is not making enough interest, it's losing.
Yeah,
So,
they're not agreeing to it, so why not? You don't know if there's a fiduciary behind there.
right, exactly.
So we had found, I think, 8 401ks for her.
8.
Yeah,
8.
as I remember, it was 8. And then we consolidated them all into one. She was very happy that day.
Right.
We found, thousands and thousands of dollars that she didn't know about.
Right.
So she was able to cut back on her work.
Mm-hmm.
She was still, busting her hump, working as a nurse. And so she was able to semi-retire at that point. I think she took some other gigs that were slacking off, like a school nurse or something like that.
Right.
But she really, I remember just her being so happy that day. Like, you found me so much money. I'm like, no, you lost it. We didn't find it for you. It was always there.
Right.
But yeah, she was. She's been our client for now several years already. So she was a happy camper. She's still traveling around.
Right.
She was here in South Texas. I think she moved to Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and she's back in Texas somewhere. But she's that's one of our stories for how we can help, especially nurses that just they're constantly churning. They're constantly getting new positions.
That's right. And they usually receive several form for tax season, right? We're around tax season right now.
1099s, yeah.
They get 1099s, ours basically for different ones that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes more cumbersome to have all your tax forms, all your things that you need, and now you have 5 to 8 of them for different 401ks
My wife's got a friend, but she's a traveling nurse, but she's out of California,
Mm-hmm.
but they still pay her as Texas. So I think she gets 1099s
Okay.
as well. And I'm like, oh.
And we've run into cases, right, where the person, the company that they work for, the clinic they work for, no longer exists.
Ooh.
So we can't call them and say, all right, we have a client here with an account number. We've had to call the state.
What did the state say?
The state, we had to call and find out what their monies were based on their Social Security number.
Is that like when I pull up the paper and it's got like lost money in there? You have
Kind
to
of
call
like
the
that.
state?
Yeah, we have to find out, that the company's no longer there. The monies are still somewhere, and it's our job to find out where it's at. So we have to do extra legwork to make sure that that client gets that money back that they had from previous work, or the clinic or the hospital. Maybe not so much a hospital, but just a place that they worked before is no longer active or no longer in service or working.
Doesn't that turn the clients into like a creditor? If they go under, they still owe them money.
Well, kind
Yeah,
of something
okay.
like that, yeah.
I think we had somebody come in with some old oil bonds one time, like actual paper bonds.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I looked them up. I was like, sorry, this company's defunct. It's out of
Right.
business. Only lasted like a few years.
Sure.
They thought it was they hit the gold mine.
The gold mine, right? The treasure was found, but no, that doesn't work like that sometimes. But yeah, it's just important to consolidate. Make it easier for the client and themselves, and help them keep their financial goals on track based on the work that we do as fiduciaries, is to find out what their story is and to help them assess their risk tolerance and put them in the right place.
And they should find out how long until they're fully vested.
Right.
If they go to a company, that should be one of the questions they ask HR is how long until, because that's free money.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of maybe, jumping every 1 or 2 years, maybe jump every time you finish vesting, and then, roll that over and start to consolidate. So maybe have just like one IRA that, with Schwab or something, and then every time you move jobs, just make sure you move it out and you do a transfer there.
Right. And imagine having 5 or 6 or 8 different
8,
401.
yeah.
Well, 8 in the store that we just talked about right now, and then you have all these different tax forms that come your way, and you don't know what's what. Your money's not making any money. In fact, it might be losing money because it's not vested the right way, and it might have high fees, right? That are still there. Now you consolidate them, you put them together in an IRA. We assess the risk tolerance, and some of our platforms
Put the guardrails on.
put the guardrails on. Yeah, we have sophisticated proprietary tracking software within these portfolios that we have now, at our discretion, that basically works in real time and tracks the markets and tells us and tells the client when to make adjustments based on.
It comes with bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated, using technology, using AI, things like that, that can basically limit our liability or our client's liability when the markets have a downturn, and of course to maximize or optimize the returns when the markets are
So first,
bullish.
The nurses, first they should, if they get a new job, call us, say, hey,
Right,
can we hook up the 401k optimizer?
right, exactly.
Okay, so you're not in a target date fund, you're not in a set it, forget it, you're actively managed. Quarterly, the sky falls, you get a text message,
Right.
real time. And then when they leave, roll it over.
Right away.
And then we'll put the guardrails on after the risk tolerance assessment, and then next until they're finally happy where they're at.
Right,
And then, we can just put cruise control on.
right.
Hopefully everything will be all right. But yeah, they covered a lot. I hope all these
Sure.
nurses are listening in and taking notes.
Taking notes,
because,
yeah.
y'all are heroes to us.
You are heroes, yes, and we are very appreciative of your work and your service. So make sure you give us a call. We'll have a conversation. You have several 401ks out there. We can help you consolidate them, organize them into one IRA, and go from there.
All right. Thank you. And you can always visit our website at mahfinancial.biz. And you got any questions, just reach out.
Thank you for listening to Retire Rich, Tales of Financial Freedom. Have questions about topics covered during the show? Visit our website at www.mahfinancial.biz or give us a call at 956-994-0407. Don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Investment advisory services and financial planning services are offered through Simplicity Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of the firm, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance, consulting, and education services offered through M.A.H. Financial. M.A.H. Financial is an unaffiliated entity from Simplicity Wealth. Clicking the like button does not constitute a testimonial for or an endorsement of our investment advisory firm, any associated person, or our services. Clicking the like button is merely a mechanism to circulate our page. Like is not meant in the traditional sense. In addition, postings to our page must refrain from recommending us or providing testimonials for our investment advisory firm. Because the SEC and state securities regulators generally prohibit testimonials, any such postings are subject to swift removal.